Hello, I'm Jenny. Welcome to Art Online with Chrysalis. So right now you will need some paper, a pencil, an eraser, and some pencil crayons. We are looking at a beautiful landscape called Ninh Binh. Ninh Binh is situated in the country Vietnam. Ninh Binh is also known as Halong Bay on land because it looks a lot like Halong Bay, but it's on land instead of on water. Here is a picture of Halong Bay, and you can see the similarities. So the parts that I have here outlined in yellow are the parts that I will be doing first. You can see that I have a horizontal line that marks the horizon between the water and the mountains, and the forefront of the mountains I'll be drawing in as well. So I'm just looking at my picture here, and I'm going to start to draw my mountains in from the top of the page, coming down, not being too perfect, just doing up and down movements with my pencil to create all that shrubs and trees. Coming up here. Now drawing in the horizontal line that marks out the horizon of the lake there. So today I'm mostly concentrating on light and dark shading. So I've got the parts circled in the water where it's all dark, and I'll be using a side of my pencil, either an HB pencil, or I also like to use a 6B pencil to create even darker shading. Gosh, that was fast, wasn't it? And lots of fun. Of course, you don't have to go that fast. I sped everything up on my camera. Please remember that you can pause the video at any time and go back and look at how to do things. So what I have in this picture is the mountain on the very front is circled in yellow, and that's the brightest mountain, really highlighted by the sun. All the parts that are highlighted and circled in the blue are very dark colors. So we're doing color contrast or light and dark contrast in our picture today. So because we're concentrating mostly on contrast, this is a perfect picture to demonstrate that. The mountains start to get lighter and lighter as they go further and further behind. So the further your eye looks, the more faded the mountains look. So this first mountain behind our foreground is our darkest mountain. And so we're going to use the side of our pencil to help with our shading. So I'm just going to draw it in first. And then I'm going to show you a technique called hatching. So hatching is when you use the side of your pencil for shading in one direction, like this. And then we go in the other direction. This helps to maintain consistency and also to make our mountain even darker. I also am pressing quite heavily on my pencil to make this very first mountain the darkest. So now I'm looking at the second set of mountains behind that first one that we just did. This mountain is not as dark, So I won't be pressing as heavily on my pencil when I'm outlining and colouring in this particular part of the mountains, the second stage here. So now we're looking at the final mountain at the very back. I'm calling this mountain number 3. It is the lightest. So again, there will be definitely no hatching in this one, whereas the previous one I did a little bit of hatching, and I'm really pressing very lightly with my pencil, hardly at all, just to keep it really light. So I'm just coming in and drawing a little bit here where that very last mountain is, right at the very back. And I'm not going to use my 6B pencil. I'm going to come and use my HB pencil this time because it is a little lighter as well than the 6B pencil. I noticed that I needed to come here in mountain number 2 here and just go a little bit darker and then press even darker here on mountain number 1, because I really want to get the colour variance to be obvious, the contrast to be obvious between the lighter and the darker mountains at the very front. And now just the last final touches is drawing in the bits and pieces that I see in my picture, like the trees. There's also some little ducks on the water at the very front. We're just doing the trees first. Just doing an impression of the trees really, squiggling around, making it look like there's leaves there. Pressing my pencil quite dark because it's a bit of a silhouette against that first mountain backdrop there. Just some ducks in the water here. There's some buffalo also in the lake. So we're just going to draw in one, but you can draw in all 3 buffaloes if you want to. We can draw in an elephant if you like. So I'm going to just add some colour at the very end, really dark green for those dark areas, yellow to highlight where the sun is hitting this very first foreground mountain, and a little bit of light green as well, just to add some extra variation. I'm also going to use a dark blue pencil to come in over the dark mountains at the very front here. And in the water as well, don't forget to add your dark shadows. So here's a final copy of my drawing. I did add some extra dark shading and also some mountain reflections in the water. Don't forget to add the yellow in the water too, where the sun is reflecting a little bit there. So what we covered today was light and dark contrast. We did some hatching to help with the light and dark contrast as well. And we covered line and contour drawing. So I hope you had fun and you'll come back and see us again soon. Bye for now.